Hey everyone, welcome to part 3 of the exporting, importing, and implementing weapons in the Unreal Development Kit tutorial. This part is going to focus on the implementation. You've already exported your weapon and imported it into the Unreal Content Manager. Now we just need to get it into the game. Alright, for this tutorial you're going to need Visual Studio and you're going to need the Infringe plugin, which allows you to create Unreal Script in Visual Studio and run it from Visual Studio. After you create a new project, an empty project is what we're using, but if you already had an Unreal project you were working on, you could easily go from there. First thing we need to do is go to Add, New Item, Unreal Script file, name it after your weapon, in our case UT_SBXIII, Stormbreaker 13, and add that. That gives us a weapon class, or an empty class. If we want to make it a weapon class, here at the end where it says extends object, what it should say is extends UT weapon, because that is the base weapon class. And then from there, if we were experts with Unreal Script and knew everything we needed to know already, we could just start programming the weapon from scratch. For our purposes, for the purposes of simplicity and this tutorial, we're going to be extending UT weapon shock rifle because it's already fully implemented, and so it's going to make our job a lot easier as we try to get the weapon model into the game. Alright, so after we do that, we need to create a mutator class that will put our new weapon class into the default inventory of all players, and that way we can see it load up whenever we start a new match, instead of having to create a custom map in the UDK and drop the weapon in there. So we want to add new item UT3 mutator, rename it something like UT mutator Stormbreaker 13. Alright, it's going to create 3 files for us. The one that we're interested in is the utmutator.uc file. That's the Unreal Script file. And right above this line that says super init mutator, we want to add the line utgame worldinfo.game default inventory, dot default inventory, brackets 0 equals class apostrophe utwep underscore sbxii semicolon. Alright, and that is going to replace the default inventory item, in our case it's the link gun, with the weapon class that we've just created. In order to make that change get into the game, in properties for your project, where it says load map at startup, right after the map name you're using, to question mark mutator equals, and then whatever your project name is, dot whatever your mutator name is. Okay, and then if we run that, what we should see is that everyone is holding the shock rifle. And the reason they're holding the shock rifle and not the weapon we've made is that we haven't actually added the code to replace the skeletal mesh. So it's using the one that it inherits from the class we're extending from. So our next step after this is going to be to replace that code in our new class. I might as well mute that. Alright, so yes, we have the shock rifle. Success. Alright, let's exit this and get back to work. Alright, so we need the code to replace the skeletal mesh. The easiest way to get this is in reference source, go to UTGame content and just open the shock rifle class. Scroll down to the bottom, and in default properties, right here, there's a block that says skeletal mesh, begin object, first person mesh. Copy that whole block of code over to your weapon, paste it in, and then change the names here to the names of the mesh and the animation set that you're using for your weapon. the ones that you imported into the content manager in part 2. That's what we're going to need. Okay. So after doing that, when you run it, your character should be holding the weapon that you've made. And if something about it looks weird, if it looks too big on the screen or it's blocking things, then what you'll have to do is go back to your original mesh and rescale it or move it around so that you can get it in the right spot when it loads into the loader or the engine. So here's ours. It's a little bit big, blocks part of the screen, but it works. It looks pretty good. Alright, so after that, what we need to do is get it in the hands of the enemy. The third-person mesh that we're using right now is still being inherited from Shock Rifle. So if I go look at another guy, even though he's supposed to be holding our weapon, he's still holding the Shock Rifle. What we need to do to fix that is create an attachment class. So up here we're going to go to Add, New Item, Unreal Script File, and name it something like sb13_attachment add. Okay, we don't want this to extend object. We want it to extend the Shock Rifle's attachment class. So go to, if you go to the Shock Rifle, see it says attachment class equals UT_attachment_Shock Rifle. We need to find that class in a second, but first we just need this. Just paste it right in there. Alright, we need to get some code out of that class. So we have to come in here, open it up, go down to the default properties section, and copy this weapon skeletal mesh code into your new attachment class in default properties, and replace it with the model name that you created. And remember, here at the end it says 3P for third person, but we only imported one model, so just go ahead and set it to 1P. That's not going to mess anything up. And let's see, we have to do one more thing. Back in our weapon class, we need to add, let's see, we need to add this code from the Shock Rifle class, the part where it's talking about the attachment class, and begin object name equals pickup mesh. Copy that code into your weapon class and change the information here. Change this class to your attachment class and change this to your mesh. The pickup mesh is the mesh that drops onto the ground when a player has been killed and they're holding your weapon. And now that we've done all that, if we run this, we should see our character holding the gun and everyone else holding the gun. Alright, and if this works, then this is where we're going to be stopping the tutorial. From here you can go into those classes you've created and start modifying behavior for the gun using your knowledge of Unreal Script. And alright, it looks like he does have the gun in his hand. Looks pretty good there, actually. Awesome. Alright everyone, thanks for watching. Good luck creating your own fun weapons.